Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Friday news. And after the news, we have the entertainment. And today we have Ruby Quinn with us, and we have some interesting stories actually lined up. I thought Ruby had the most interesting story. We had a kind of a pre-news meeting, so we all voted that she should run her story first. It's well, of course, it's about suing the Watchtower, so that's kind of interesting. But I'm not going to give it away. Ruby, we're going to let you fly with this one. It's a good story.
Yes.
But hey, before we start, what's the weather like? We should talk about the weather. Do a weather story.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No problem. So in Florida, Tampa Bay, it is 56 degrees, clear skies.
Well, here in Canada, now we moved, right? Now, at our
Mhm.
old place, it would be like minus 22 Fahrenheit, minus
Oh my
30
God.
Celsius at our old place, right? So we moved to
Mhm.
to a sunny BC
Well,
and
to
warmer BC. There's no
sunny.
sun, but it's only 32.5 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
32.5. Now you said that was cold, right?
Freezing. I'm freezing in 56.
I was
Yeah.
walking outside like this, just like this,
Oh my God, you're gonna get
track
sick.
pants. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was actually filling up the water. Nothing's freezing at 32. Nothing freezes. You know,
Oh,
we live in a mobile unit, so I have weekly chores like dumping the sewer, filling the water up, things like that.
yeah.
So off-grid living is a little bit different. We've had a lot of cloud cover, so I'm doing a solar study, and I'm finding out there's not much sun here. There's
No.
mountains all around us, and there's about 3 hours of sunshine. That's it.
Wow.
You don't even
Oh
see
my
the moon
God.
at night. And then there's
Really?
Oh yeah.
it's different. So we're going to try to capture a lot of this on video. The solar study, we are grabbing some ambient lighting, through the clouds. So, we get about a three amp charge on our 12-volt batteries. Not enough to run
Mhm.
the internet, like we have to run the generator now to run everything. When the
Mhm.
sun's running in the summer, I don't think we'd have to run the generator here. But that's like any.
Mm.
But this is what southern hemisphere, like where you live, you might take that for granted. You have a lot of sunshine, so if you wanted to live off grid, solar would be no problem. But here in
Mhm.
Canada, we actually ordered a second generator just to have a backup, right?
Yeah.
Because could you imagine your generator quits and it's minus, maybe it's below freezing, because we're going to get to minus 11 Celsius, which would be below your freezing, probably about 25.
Oh my
20.
God, you could freeze
We're
to
gonna
death
get
over
we're gonna
there.
get a little bit colder here,
Oh
and
my goodness.
we got to be prepared in Canada for that if we're going to live off grid. But that's part of the challenge. That's part of the fun. But that's enough of the weather uh, up here.
Yes.
It's what's happening around the globe. California had some snow. I don't know if that affected any of our friends, XGW friends. I haven't heard. Have you?
No, I haven't, but I do know some people in the chat, or if I think San Diego's in California, so if San Diego's
Yeah.
around,
We'll
let
have
us
to
know.
ask him. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, you had a really interesting story there about one of the other XJW members in the community that's actually a creator, very
Hmm.
successful in his channel. Do you want to run with that? And we'll just all
Yes,
sit back
I
and watch.
do. So
Do
before
you
I
have
get into
anything?
that,
Okay,
yes,
you go ahead.
sorry.
I'm gonna mute myself, shut myself up. You go.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, this is live. Before I get into the story, I do want to say hi to everybody in the chat. John Marciano, Steen One, Jay, hello, Becky, and all right, we're up to date. And hi to everybody else who's watching. So, I didn't even prepare for this show. So I was just looking through my algorithm, and I have one of the best algorithms, XJW Caleb, YouTube channel. I think we pretty much know who this is. He's one of the bigger channels out there. And I'm so glad that he is getting more serious about activism, because in his latest video, which is entitled How to Legally End the Jehovah's Witnesses. And then in parentheses, he writes I'm suing them. And I was like, okay, I need to see what this is, right? And then I checked my email, and one of my faithful, subscribers told me, you need to check this out because don't you love talking about like political stuff? And I'm like, of course, yes. And then she said, this is right up your alley. You need to look at what XJW Caleb is doing. So I watched the video. Now, XJW Caleb created a website, which I'm going to show you after we see a clip of his video. But basically, he is actually doing what we have all been talking about, which is legally taking down the watchtower. Our stories are great. We talk about how a lot of XW stories of shunning and etc. Right? But I always used to say we need to either declassify them or we need to take them up against human rights issues. Sorry, can't even talk anymore. So yeah, he's in Mexico and he looked up all of the information for Australia, New Zealand, United States, and Mexico with the documents up and ready, uploaded for you to just download, create like a template, do whatever you want to do. You can remain anonymous or you can put your name, and how to petition your government to sue the Jehovah's Witnesses. And he is suing them for like a very specific reason, which is voter suppression. And you already know I love politics. So I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to do this. And then I was thinking about, remember Slavika? She was sending us all those emails and, oh, that we should contact our attorney generals and things like that. And I was like, of course I want to do that. I just don't know how. I just don't know what to write. What do you say? So XJW Caleb did wonderful by creating this website. And that's why I am showcasing this video, because he did it himself. So we're only going to watch like a few minutes of his video. I hope he doesn't mind. For the sake of the community, he will let us play his video.
Ever wants its members to do: get informed and get involved. That is why yesterday I collected all of the information I mentioned in this video and I sent it to the Ministry of the Interior, concretely to the General Directorate of Religious Associations. This is the very first step to bring this religion to justice in my country. And I will not stop pursuing this until I take it all the way to the end. The General Directorate usually has between 20 to 30 business days to respond to it, and I'll be letting you know as soon as I have updates. The way I see it, only three things can happen. Either they tell me that this religion can suppress voters, and that's totally okay, which would only be likely if I made a mistake while filing the report, at which point I would just appeal and appeal again. Otherwise, they would notify the religion, which would lead them to either the religion changing their policies or to the religion losing its tax-exempt status and bleeding money. Either way, this is just starting. So far, I have only done like a report, but I think it's only a matter of time until I need to go to Mexico City myself to testify, to follow up, or to do any of the other things that the bureaucrats want me to do. I might even need to hire a lawyer. And as you heard, I reported this in Mexico City because I am Mexican and living in Mexico. But this religion does it all over the world. If enough large countries start looking into it, then more and more smaller countries will start following suit. And if multiple countries are looking into this at the same time, they will be spread thin, maximizing the pressure for them to change their illegal practices. I don't consider making these videos activism. I don't care if someone does, but I personally don't, for reasons I made clear years ago in one of the very first videos I made. That being said, reporting this religion to the government and pressuring them to either change their ways or to force them to bleed money is definitely activism. Not just activism, but unprecedented activism. And you don't need a channel like mine to do it. You just need to get involved. That is why I need.
Hey, if you live in one of these cities right here,
your help. In the description, you will find a link with all of the evidence and step-by-step instructions on how to do what I did in your country. I have instructions on how to replicate this in the UK, Canada, New Zealand, Mexico, and of course, the home of this cult, the United States, with more countries to follow. All I need you to do is to follow the link and follow the instructions. You might need to spend just 5 minutes to send one email to become a permanent thorn in the flesh of this religion and to become the person who brings down their precious tax-exempt status in your country. Plus,
All right, so I'm going to pause it there because he explains it wonderfully. If you haven't watched that video already, go watch it. But that's his website, and I'm going to show it to you guys because I'm so glad that he started this, because I would have not known where to start. And I live in the United States, right? So here's his website. I'll put it in the comment section after the live. But all you have to do is choose your country for instructions. So we got Canada, Mexico, New Zealand, United Kingdom, United States. So I would click United States, right? And then he has step by step. Step 1, prepare your evidence. Step 2, report to the U.S. Department of Justice. Step 3, file a complaint with the IRS. Step 4, contact state election officials. Step 5, notify civil rights organizations. Step 6, consider public reporting or media. I think that is brilliant on XJW Caleb's part because that's exactly what we need to do. And I just wanted to share that with everybody because we already know that Jehovah's Witnesses violate our human rights. Freedom of religion, they violate. Freedom of speech, they violate. They do voter suppression because people have had consequences for voting or getting politically involved or active or protesting, whatever it is. They don't want you getting involved at all. And they cannot do that, especially in the United States. Nobody can coerce your vote or tell you that you can't vote. And yet the Jehovah's Witnesses say that. So just like Caleb downloaded everything that you need from the Shepherding Flock book, Watchtower articles, like whatever evidence in the JW world that you need, you can get it online. You can even ask Caleb how he did it so that you can do it too. So I want to help everybody. Maybe we can do it in a bunch of states, like everybody on Discord. Let's petition our local officials to target the Jehovah's Witnesses. As long as they have eyes on the Jehovah's Witnesses, we can start the takedown.
So can I ask a question, Ruby, on this?
Yeah.
Now, when Caleb was talking about the evidence, did he give a list or... So how do you get evidence out of Jehovah's Witnesses? Like, do we just give our story? Because you can't get evidence out of them. No one's there is going to admit to anything. Like, how do you get evidence?
So this is what his website says. Prepare your evidence. Gather supporting documents, including internal Jehovah's Witness manuals, which is the Shepherd of the Flock of God, publications such as, Keep Yourselves in God's Love. And if you have any testimonies like your own that illustrate the allegations of political restrictions and penalties. So that's one way. The second bullet point says, highlight the relevant text and take screenshots of the neutrality section on LVS page 244 and the neutrality section in the Elder Manual, chapter 18.3, to send along with the PDFs of both books. And then the third bullet point says, ensure all evidence is legible and organized for easy reference, which is not really hard to do because we have access to these documents now. Before, we never used to have access to the Elder's book or the Shepherd of Flock of God book, and people like you have it, right? So it's like we can easily download.
Avoid JW is where everyone can get it.
There you go. Avoid JW. You can download it. Go to chapter 18.3 and do what you need to do. Like if you want to get more involved, that is one way you can do it, especially in the United States. I feel like it's our duty. like Caleb said, the cult originated here. This is one of the freest countries in the world, right? We always talk about that. So why aren't Americans the ones, trying to liberate people, right? Like in my opinion, I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it.
Good. Well, that's great. Maybe you can do a video on it. Just kind of how he did it. He showed himself mailing it. I think that's great. If we can, I'm going to look at it and see what he's saying for Canada. I know we had a letter writing campaign to go to the MPs, the members of parliaments here in Canada.
Mhm.
And I sent my letter out to the member of parliament. I got a reply back just saying, yeah, we got your letter, but then nothing. And then we
Right.
have the petition here in Canada. And if anybody's interested in Canada and you want to sign it, it's growing. And the more people on the petition, we have, I think it's pushing 1,100, 1,200.
Mhm.
So the more people, you need 1,000 to be able to really have a voice. So we're over that milestone. And it's taken a couple of years, a year and a half. It takes a while. So the
Yeah.
petition in Canada, now we have to align ourselves with a member of parliament that wants to take this a step further. So I'm curious. I haven't thought of the voting.
Yeah.
This is so important. Here we have this religion telling us all we're all XJWs, and a lot of us left. We left the religion. I still haven't really voted. I don't get into politics. Why? Because I've been brainwashed. We still carry some of these things in our heads, and it's really hard
Mhm.
to undo it. I went 30 years with no interest in politics, thinking that the governments were evil, but yet the Bible says to be in subjection to them. And here we've been lied to, we've been deceived. They've taken the scriptures, they've twisted it. And sure, God, the Bible says to obey God over man and things like that. There's all
Mhm.
these scriptures, but it doesn't say to demonize the governments. You see, it
Right.
says obey God over man, right? But it doesn't
Mhm.
say to demonize. It says in Romans and First Peter, it says to listen to them. They're there for your good. And
Right.
it says when it comes to a good, we should listen to him. So we're not going to obey man if man tells us to go do something evil, right?
Mhm.
I don't care if the man's in government or where the man is. That's what the Bible says. That's kind of our moral, kind of how we are, right? We don't have to obey anybody, right?
Right.
But when it says listen to the governments, uh, the Bible says that. Why? Because they're there for our good. And when it comes to protecting children,
Mhm.
like in Norway, I think that's good. I think protecting
Right.
children is good. In fact, Jesus was all about the children. He was all about protecting the children. In fact, when the disciples were having an argument, who was greater, he said, "Look at the children. They're your example."
Exactly.
So,
But we know that the Watchtower doesn't abide by the Bible. They abide by Watchtower publications from the Bible and Tract Society. So whatever the society says to do is what Jehovah's Witnesses do. So you have to use their own books and publications against them. And I'm sure we can find more than one article that will describe, or even that video. I mean, even in Caleb's video, he put a JW video of a man not getting involved in his worker union thing and a protest that was happening, or a signature. Oh, sign up for this because we need the workers to sign up for something. And he didn't even get involved in that. And so that propaganda in that video is telling Jehovah's Witnesses all around the world,
mhm,
it's like signaling to them not to get politically involved.
yeah.
And then they have like this elder meeting clip, and they was like, oh, this brother didn't even sign the paper, he's such a good brother. So
Mhm.
you already know how Jehovah's Witnesses feel. We already know how Jehovah's Witnesses feel about this. Now we need the government to see how they're keeping us mentally held from getting involved, because we don't want to get consequences from our church.
I think the Gilbert's bringing up even the Amish vote,
The Amish
and I
vote.
think
Yeah.
here in Canada we have the Hutterite colonies. They vote. Like there's all these very religious groups that vote, and they follow the Bible. The Hutterites, I know, they have church every day, 5 o'clock. The bell rings. They
But
have
the
church.
but the Amish didn't really vote like in numbers that we have seen in the past, like they did in 2024, because 2024 was one of the
Hmm.
years that the Amish community really came out and voted for Trump,
Really.
surprisingly.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean that's even changing for them. The Amish are even getting involved. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Jehovah's Witnesses or any other cult that has
Hmm.
these like really dumb rules when it comes to everyday life, like for example, the Mormons, they can't drink coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's
Yeah.
just really things that don't make
Hmm.
sense. But specifically the Jehovah's Witnesses suppress the average JW voter because there is no such thing as a Jehovah's Witness voter who gets politically involved. You will never see a Jehovah's Witness at a protest, who actually identifies themselves. They're probably a closeted JW who doesn't want to reveal that they're Jehovah's Witnesses, or else they'll get reproved. So that's what suppression is. You're afraid to even do a regular thing because you don't want to get reproved from the Kingdom Hall.
The installation from the front.
Really? Okay. We got a big wind up here, but that's okay.
So
I just seen something fly by the window.
it was just part of the trailer.
Well, I kind of
It was just part
put
of
some
the trailer.
insulation around, that
Yeah.
silver shiny stuff. And I the duct tape doesn't stick good at
Oh,
32
no.
degrees. It just doesn't
Yeah.
stick good. I got to find a different kind of duct tape, but that's another problem.
We're going to use the real thing. We already know how to fix it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This voting thing, I think we should all pay attention to what Caleb's saying. He's been at this for a while. I didn't realize he was in Mexico. He sure has good English. He sure does a good job as an activist right from Mexico City. And I know Mexico was involved in the Be Free 2023. They're out there. That was a couple of years ago with the loud horn talking at some parliament building there. So that was great.
Nice.
But we do have to get involved. And even little ways, if we write letters, we can go on to Google and write a review of the Kingdom Hall. There's a little, but you got to be bold because your name is on it. This takes some boldness, and it's hard if we're trying to kind of be PMO. We're kind of in and out, where we don't want to be the apostate. I think they'd make you an apostate if you went to Google review and told them really what's happening. But we have to get brave. We have to realize that we do have a community. Don't worry about the shunning. Join the online community. This is where you get the real support, and get involved. And the more we get involved, the more we write letters like they're doing in Norway, the more we're going to help to correct things. Now, it's not about bringing the religion down. The religion has a whole lot of damn changes to do, and they have a lot of payback to do. That's what's got to happen. So that's what the religions are doing today when it comes to CSA. We're going to talk about that. I got some articles pulled up on that. What's going on in New Zealand, that readdress. Have you heard? We talked about that last week. And I didn't really do the research last week. Now, I don't want to cut you off. Did you finish up with Caleb? Are we moving forward?
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to put his website in the description or in the comments after the live, and everybody can click on that, download the PDFs, because he even has like the template of like what to say, what to write, what to download. Everything is listed there. All you have to do is just do it. Like, even if you've never done something like this before, just look at all of us as living proof that it doesn't matter what you do. Either you're never going to be good enough for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to follow your own instincts, follow yourself. Don't be listening to other people of what you should or what you shouldn't do. Do what you know is right. As long as it's right, you're good to go. And this, in my opinion, is the right thing to do, because we already know that the organization is wrong and it destroys people's lives. So if and I'll give myself as an example, I don't have anything else to lose. I already lost everything without my consent. I didn't want them to stop talking to me. I didn't want my mom to shun me or her grandchildren, but it happened without me even, thinking that would happen. So there's nothing else to lose. So even if you do get involved in this, guess what? There's nothing else to lose as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. So you might as well just get involved and be a part of something.
Yeah. Well, hey, here's a little piece of news, since you were on the politics a little bit there. I heard, a news clip that Trump offered Trudeau, our government, hey, if you don't like the tariffs, you could become the 51st state.
Yeah, that was funny. I laughed when I saw that too. I was like, no, they don't.
There's a lot of Canadians are taking a serious look at that. A lot of the Western Canadians, for instance, Alberta, they can't sell their oil. They're trapped because Quebec doesn't want it. Quebec kind of controls the country, one little province, and we're landlocked now. A guy like Trump, he'll get it. He'll get it out on wherever he wants because it's resources, right? But we have a lot of
Yeah,
oil
but
locked in that we can't use.
I
But it's
think he's just
interesting.
trolling. I don't think that's real.
I don't know. A lot of Canadians are saying, "Well, that's what's on the news."
I know I get it, but in my
Yeah.
opinion, before they even think about making Canada a state, even if it is true, he needs to look at Puerto Rico, because if that's the case, Puerto Rico should have become a state long time ago, and it hasn't.
Oh,
So Canada's
absolutely.
gonna have to wait.
And no, and I think Mexico. Remember we said that if you made North America great again, you did all
Yeah.
your, like we used to make all our electronics in Mexico at one time. I used
Hmm.
to work for Honeywell, and everything was made in Mexico. Maybe it still is. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't see that anymore. Made in Mexico. They used to make all kinds of electronics in the 80s, and
Hmm.
then it's now all made in China.
Unfortunately,
So
yeah.
now we're in a kind of an arm lock
Hmm.
with China because we're buying all their stuff. We can't buy it anywhere else. So this
Yeah.
is make North America great again. You can do it all in one roof. You don't have to go across the sea. You can do it with a train. It makes a lot of sense. Who knows what's going to happen, Ruby? But let's move on to JW news.
Yes. Go ahead,
I'm not
Vern.
much of a political guy, but it's interesting the scene that we're living in.
Yep.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
I'm going to pull up some news here. Thank you to watching Watchtower. The first bit of news here is Jehovah's Witnesses and the Australian Commission. We talked about that last week. I hadn't looked into it. I looked into it a little bit more today. Joint Standing Committee on Implementation of the National Redress Scheme. And this goes back to July of 2022. JW Org was suing them, fighting this tooth and nail. They lost every time. Now the readdress scheme is at a point where they need people to get busy, and thousands of people. We're going to read an article here really quick, but this is all the information that's on Watchtower. That's what they've got it all summed up for us here. Now, if you look at this here, and I'm going to put this link in, this is everything on this readdress scheme. And what I did is I just went up to the search bar, because you'll have to go through thousands of pages. I just punched in Jehovah, and I punched in search. You can make it capital. You search that, and it should all come up. It's searching. It'll just take a while. And all the articles for Jehovah's Witnesses come up here. So, for instance, Chapter 5, the Parliament of Australia, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Australia, otherwise known as Jehovah's Witnesses, noted that religious intolerance is widespread. They claim that this intolerance is exhibited by both secular authorities and by other religious groups, and much of it is therefore supported or instigated by other religions. So all they have to say about this whole thing is intolerance. Like they're going, remember Jehovah's Witnesses are saying religious intolerance. They're going on that. Chapter 4, freedom of religion and belief in Australia. Despite this diversity, religious freedom has not been a particularly prominent feature of the development of Australian society and its institutions. They're saying that our laws evolved from English Protestant, particularly Church of England institutions. You see, Jehovah's Witnesses are coming in and say, well, you got to be more diverse. That's what they're doing all over the world, right?
Yeah.
They're pushing their religion, and they feel that they have a right to it, to do that. And that's not the way it is. The world's not made that way. It's not a cookie cutter. They're
Right.
this group that figures they should be able to go anywhere. But here's all the stuff here. All of the stuff you just plug in. When you want to read up on it, you can click it. It's mostly Jehovah's Witnesses fighting the system.
Hmm.
That's what this is mostly about. There's nothing about them apologizing, nothing of them taking ownership for all the thousands and thousands of people that have come out of this readdress scheme. So this is the last point I was going to look at here on this readdress scheme. We're at a dangerous crunch point. I'm going to see if I can blow that up, get rid of the commercials. There we are. We're at a dangerous crunch point. Survivors will be denied justice due to delays in Australia's redress scheme. I say readdress scheme, but it's redress scheme. Okay, so the inquiry warns it may run out of time to work through the backlog of cases due to significant holdups and a surge in applications. So there was like 1,000 when they started, right? I think it brings out how many they have. It says abuse survivors are at a serious risk of being denied justice from the church and other institutions because of extraordinary delays with the National Redress Scheme and parliamentary inquiry they have warned. So I'm just going to try to paraphrase this a bit. They're running out of time. There's a backlog of cases. They were operating since 2018, and 1 year after the commission's damning final report. Do you see how they worded that? It's not my words. Damning final report. Did I read that right? Damning? It's a damned report. Is that what they mean? Like this damned report? Like they're almost trying to swear, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Maybe I don't understand the
it's
English.
blaming them.
It's blaming them?
It damns them. Like
It damns them?
it really
Okay.
Yeah.
doesn't make good.
Well, 1 year after this Royal Commission's damn report, offering capped compensation and apologies to survivors of abuse in churches, orphanages, children's homes, schools, sports clubs, and other institutions. So there was offering capped compensation. But the survivor groups and advocates have for years warned delays with the scheme were causing further harm, particularly to those who are seriously ill or dying. Like, what the hell good's a scheme if you die? You're 90 years old by the time this shit's done, right? It's BS. So this is what the Guardian's talking about, and they're going to have to extend their time. They're trying to end this in 2028, and this is the thing. Jehovah's Witnesses have been fighting it. They have taken no responsibility. There's no apologies, no payouts from these turkeys, and 2028 is going to come by pretty quick. So I think they're looking for extensions, and I think they're going to get it. So here's what it says: unless changes are made, some survivors could miss out on the redress scheme. So what they have as lawyers, let me see if it brings it here. The delays have prompted a recommendation that the federal government seek agreements of states and territories to extend the operation of this scheme. You see, this hasn't even happened in the States and Canada and other places yet.
Right.
Yet. This is just starting. Norway's what happened. This is just a domino effect that's I think it's going to take off on this religion all over the world. Now, here's what they're saying. No more. It says a free legal service for survivors. Wouldn't that be nice if we could just phone up lawyer No More and they're all trained in these JWs?
Yeah.
And hey, put us in, let's get me going, right?
Yeah.
That's all they have to do down there in New Zealand. Phone up this lawyer. But he warned that the inquiry that the scheme was approaching a dangerous crunch point and that many thousands of eligible survivors are at risk of missing out. Now, I was going to look, I wanted to show the numbers because it did show it. They found various governments should consider asking potential redress application to register by a set date to allow them to apply for redress after the cutoff and extend some aspects of the scheme, such as psychological care. So how do you know, like, how much you're in the middle of care? I don't know. Some of these people have been abused. It screws them up for life. They can't work. They're dysfunctional, So how do you figure all that out?
Mm-hmm.
It's recommended additional funding to be provided to the scheme and that the government mount a public awareness campaign to ensure survivors know their time is running out. So, for all of those watching this program out there, if you're from New Zealand, from Australia, time is running out. Get involved if you're one of the survivors. Now, where is it? There was thousands and thousands of applications that came in. Recommendations to improve the scheme made it the second year of its operation have taken too long. And there's been some slowdowns here in the 2023, 2024. So that's kind of the latest news on the National Redress Scheme, the
Mm-hmm.
Parliament of Australia. That's the latest. I haven't
Wow.
seen anything that says Jehovah's Witnesses are stepping up to the plate and apologizing and paying anybody out. But I think at this
Mm-mm.
point of the game, you want to get your claim in, you want to get your name in, you want to get a lawyer, and you want to make sure that you beat the deadline. And if you die before that, make sure you make a will out to your relatives that are not Jehovah's Witnesses, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and or someone, and get your estate. I guess your estate would take it all and give it all to charity. I don't know how it works. Okay,
Wow.
that's what's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have next for us? Anything?
Um, no, just that one other thing that I was gonna share about Scott Holman. He was the director and filmmaker of the Witness Underground documentary that most of us have seen. If you have not seen it, please look him up. I will share the YouTube channel. Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen in a second. I think his YouTube is called Banana
Oh
Island
yeah.
Films.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he just posted this video 14 hours ago, and the title is Cult Members Speak Out, Rock the Watchtower Cult Awareness Conference. And I think he has a really good description if anybody wants to look into it. But basically, this is a clip from the Decult Cult Awareness Conference featuring highlights from the Jehovah's Witness panel, Rock the Watchtower. This panel, led by investigative journalist Anusha Bradley of Radio New Zealand and three diverse human rights activists, brings forward a compelling discussion about life after living in a cult and the path
Mm-hmm.
to healing from religious abuse. So I won't read the whole thing, but it is a 16-minute video. And once again, I hope that Scott doesn't mind us playing his video. I did not ask him if I could play this, and I did not ask W. Caleb, but I'm sure it will be fine for the sake of our community because I think this is really good for us to watch. And if you notice, Mickey McCollin, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but I couldn't believe that she was also there, and that's Apostate Barbie. She's really big on TikTok. She does a lot of great videos, and I love her pink hair. So yeah, I'm gonna play this, and we can just enjoy it.
Hi, my name's Anusha Bradley. I'm so pleased to host this panel of former Jehovah's Witnesses who have all really in their different forms turned their
Mhm.
grief and trauma belonging to this religion into activism. We have Shane Meechin, Lara Kaput and Scott Homan. And Scott, your documentary Witness Underground, the central theme to that is around shunning. Is that what sort of sparked your decision to make the documentary?
Yes, the theme of the movie is shunning, and that's the one thing that I feel is universal to everyone who leaves the religion is that you get shunned. Whether you get kicked out or you leave on purpose or you fade away, at some point you're cut off from your community. And I was sort of shocked that that happened to me because my parents were really bad at being Jehovah's Witnesses, and so were my brothers and sisters. Like we were really on the fringes, and my parents like joined it late in life and tried to raise us in it, but they didn't really want to go either. So I had this like weird, I was living in two worlds. Like my mom never was really taking it seriously. So when I walked away from it, I was like, well, they'll never do that shunning thing. Like they're not even shunning the people that are disfellowshipped that we were related to, which means you're kicked out officially. And so when I left and then they cut me off, it was like, you're joking. I'm gonna make a scene about this on the internet. And then later, I waited for a lot of years. Then later I was like, I watched every movie while a Jehovah's Witness about Jehovah's Witnesses from the outside perspective. That affected me in a positive way. I should make a movie. I'm going to figure out how to make a movie to tell this crazy story. So I spent like 5 years studying film and then did it.
I'd just be interested to know if each of you could share what prompted you to leave and at what age did this happen?
Oh, it's a really long path and it's a lot of nuance to it. For maybe someone on the outside it'd be like, you're in or you're out, but I feel like it's like a 7-year process going from physically in, mentally in, to physically out, mentally in, to maybe going back to it, and then finally being physically out and mentally out, but then beginning the process of deconstructing that. And for me, I left at 19, and then went back to it on terms with my dad, and then finally left in 2008 when I was 27. And the shocking thing was like, I found out that their entire belief system is like based on really poor foundations. And the film actually discusses like Noah's Ark, which sounds maybe silly to everyone because it's like an allegory. But like finding out that like it's all made up, it's all fiction, mythology. And like you have to believe everything they teach. Sorry, it's more than two sentences.
That's good, thank you. I know it's complex, yeah. Lara?
I was also 19 and the Jehovah's Witnesses were just so misogynist. I didn't want to live in paradise on earth forever with Jehovah's Witnesses. They were just so hypocritical. And I just, that just wasn't a bonus for me. Yeah.
Spoons, they're out. Panera's new ciabatta dip.
Can you maybe each describe why you have chosen the form of activism that you have? Scott?
Filmmaking, okay. And also I have a YouTube channel. So I started out doing a YouTube channel interviewing ex-members in a sort of documentary style and getting their story, but it was sort of like a life after angle. Like what happens after you have complete freedom, and then but you came from this bizarre background, transformative moment. There's like hundreds of channels on TikTok, like with Nikki, YouTube and Instagram, etc., of people talking about their stories. And a lot of it I was seeing was dealing with, I found that there was a hole not being served, basically. And a lot of the media is like, well, this is what the Watchtower wrote in the 1940s, and then they wrote this in the 1980s. Can you believe how crazy that is? And it's blocks of text, and it's like referencing, and then they read their actual magazines, and they're recording their presentations that the religion puts out, and then like commenting on it. And it feels like you're going to church, and like you're not out of it. Like the activists aren't out of it. And like, who's this for? Like, I don't want to spend any more time in my life reading the Watchtower. It's like a complete waste of time. And I wanted to make something that was like celebrating someone that got out. And a lot of the movies that had come out about the witnesses, but also a lot of religions, it felt like they were
Dark?
Yeah, they're dark. Thank
Negative?
you. Also, keep going. This is fun.
They're good though.
No, they deal with the trauma side, and they get someone to cry on camera and roll credits.
So it's almost voyeuristic.
Voyeuristic, and like the audience is supposed to pity them.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like, no, the best part of life started there.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything became awesome after that. Like, let's show that. What is that thing? And I don't know if it worked. I'm still waiting to find out. Like, you're the target audience, so I need you to do a review on Rotten Tomatoes and share it with all your friends and tell the world.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Scott. It must take a huge personal toll or cost.
Yeah, making the movie was hard. I had a lot of hit my limit and had to like take a 6-month break a bunch of times. So sorry for the delay if anybody was paying attention since 2018. But I also did like an interview series, like I was saying. And actually, that's fun because I like gamified YouTube. Like, how do I get the most views as a challenge? But yeah, it takes a toll. Interviewing people that have gone through this kind of thing, like in a sense, it's playing therapy, but I'm not trained at all. yeah, we even talked about this offline about trauma informed as a term, and like, oh, we're traumatized. So like, I get it, but I don't have the skill set or the training. So I end up like probably needing to, like, therapists need therapy. And so if you're like in that space, you probably need to like get more services from professionals to like deal with it.
What's been the impact of your film, especially in terms of the people that featured in it?
Oh, I think it's been interesting because when we shot it, it was so long ago for them, and that was sort of like their going public with this topic. But the film didn't come out for so long publicly. It just came out this year, a few months ago, and I think they want to be detached from it at this point because it was such a long time scale from shooting to release that I've, without giving any personal information away, they've reached out to me in different ways that have been like, they're traumatized right now. Mm-hmm. And because it's like a coming out moment for them. So tricky.
Yeah.
Not easy.
How do you navigate that? How are you navigating it?
Any professional who knows how to navigate that, like, let's talk. I'm not sure. It's not going great. But at the same time, like, they have their whole lives, and we're just not that close. Like, there was a time where we were really close, and so it's like it's always ebbing and flowing. I would like there to be more connection, but ultimately, yeah, everyone needs to get their own professional services.
Yeah. Shane, what keeps driving you to advocate for people, for former Jehovah's Witnesses in these issues?
There's a need. More and more stories keep coming forward, and you just listen. I know some of my clients, because I clean carpets, and you talked about time. Well, I'm cleaning carpets. I know how to clean a carpet. I can talk on the phone, and they hear some interesting conversations, and they go, "Oh, what was wrong with that person?" But I have to. When you do it because there's a need. So yeah, I've been able to educate people. Well, this is what actually happens in these high control groups, and they go, "No," but it's true. And so motivation, it's just wanting to help, to support, because they struggle. They really, really struggle. They think they're by themselves. And so I guess that's the motivation I've got. So, yeah.
Twist.
Lara, when you're doing all these submissions and talking to all these important people, like what keeps driving you to do this? And is there a personal toll to that?
Yeah, there definitely is a personal toll. I definitely relate to the ebb and flow. For example, the religion attacks me. They have cult apologists that have written articles about me in multiple languages. The
Badge of honor.
Yeah. It's a bit stressful, but I have nightmares still. And but what drives me is, just like I can see the audience in front of me today, I can see the children. I can see the next generation of children and the one after that suffering what we did if I don't keep going. So I can't stop because we have to stop it in our generation. Otherwise, they're going to end up like us, and I don't want that to happen.
Thank you.
So I'm driven by the kids, yeah.
I'm just wondering, did you ever get any feedback from the Watchtower as to your film yet?
I really thought that was going to like make it blow up. It's getting litigated. So I kind of hoped on some level that would happen. Like
Sorry.
You got it. I was doing the wrong avenue. So no, I've like heard absolutely nothing. I've heard from not one single active witness that they've actually watched it. The only thing that's been happening that's like super interesting to me is I never watched a movie and was like, wow, I like that movie. I need to find out the guy who made that or the person who made that and write them a letter about how it made me feel. And I'm getting that. That's cool. I'd prefer a review on Rotten Tomatoes. But it's really heartwarming and really cool that like someone's like, this really hit me so much that I had to go find out who made it. I'm going to write them a letter. So it's really awesome. And so it's hitting a note emotionally.
Yeah.
It's also rewarding, right, guys?
Yeah.
So even though it is hard, and yes, we do cry sometimes, there's a huge reward when you know someone wrote to you and you wrote back and it made their day.
Okay.
Or someone really needs to have a coffee and you're willing to go and do that. Or someone benefited from something you wrote 3 years ago and now it's changed the law. There's a huge amount of reward.
Yeah. Okay. She asked how you can see my film Witness Underground. So it's very simple. I made a website, witnessunderground.com. It is a film about Jehovah's Witnesses escaping a cult using self-expression and music. And they were a music scene of hundreds of kids making bands for 17 years in the religion, and then like getting out and making even more music that's more powerful without any limitations. And it's on witnessunderground.com, so you can see all the links to watch. International premiere was last night, but it is available in New Zealand to watch.
Well, I've watched it twice in here in New Zealand, so I can't remember which one it was. But what I found with going to the biggest screen, I go, I don't remember that. There were so many points that I got out of it after watching it a number of times.
I watched it on Tubi in Australia, so that works.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Oh, we've got time for 2B.
Perfect. Thank you.
One more. I think we had one more question. Is it Ulrika?
Please watch the film Witness Underground. It's really wonderful. And
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it there. They take some questions, and it's only a few minutes more if anybody else wants to watch it. But the rest of this conference, if you want to see the entire thing, because that was just the edited version that Scott did on his channel, this is their website. And you should be able to see it here. Okay. Decult.net. Decult Conference 2024. First New Zealand Cult Conference. And if you want to watch it, you click this link here to purchase it. And I did check, it's $75 if you want to see the entire thing. So if anybody is interested in that, wanted to give you the website for it, and definitely check out Scott Holman's documentary if you haven't already, Witness Underground. It is a wonderful documentary, so much so that it did move me to reach out to Scott, and we've talked a little bit on, and he's also on Discord. So if anybody wants to join us on the Discord server, I have a link on my bio on YouTube, and it's also in the chats. And sorry, I know I keep adding a bunch of stuff, but I did an exclusive interview with one of the main characters of the documentary. His name is Ryan Sutter, and I was so honored to like be his first interview after the Witness Underground documentary came out. So if anybody wants to check that out, that's on my YouTube channel. All right, I am done with all of my news articles. I'm going to leave it up to Vern because I do know after our 1 hour mark, we have entertainment after news. So go ahead, Vern.
Okay, I'll try to squeeze this all in.
Alora knows, so it's all good.
First, in conjunction, Banana Island Films. That's Scott's channel. If you guys are online, subscribe to it. He could use some more subscribers. That's one of the things he said. He'd like if he could get some more support out there. Subscribing is a way of supporting. And so there you have it. Now, I want to move over to Watching Watchtower brought this up. Italy, what's going on in Italy? Have you heard that? Now, here's a guy. This guy, he's Stefiana. He's into the parliament, and he's a member of the parliament group. He's a member of the parliament bodies. From November, he was commissioned justice, election board, parliamentary commission of inquiry, parliamentary inquiry on all forms of gender violence, and inquiry into the mafia, other criminal associations, including foreign ones. and he's a council of jurisdiction. So here's what's happening. This is in Italy, right? So the chamber, he's put a letter into the Chamber of Deputies written into question, and he says there are faith communities around the world that provide resources, support, and opportunity to the most vulnerable, often playing a significant role in protection of minors. And he goes on to talk about this. I'm going to try to breathe through this. But here's what he said. He said, according to foreign government and press sources, he says, Jehovah's Witnesses have been the subject of several investigations by government authorities of foreign countries who have unanimously noted, among other things, the inadequacies of internal procedures and policies for the protection of minors, the tendency not to encourage reporting, the concealment of indictments, abuse and pedophilia, and the lack of collaboration with the authorities, as well as serious cases of secondary victimization. And he goes on to say, in the Netherlands, where the confessions would have opposed the call to establish an internal investigation into cases of child abuse, the Chamber of Deputies would have commissioned researchers from the University of Utrecht to carry out such a study. And the heavy conclusions of the report made public in January of 2020 would be in line with what emerged in the government investigations. In the recent investigations by the New Zealand Royal Commission, now he's naming that one, in addition to the similarly confirming the findings of other government commissions, has highlighted the questioning of child and young victims of sexual abuse conducted by members of the so-called Internal Judicial Committee of Jehovah's Witnesses was configured as inappropriate and emotionally and psychologically violent. To establish a judicial committee in the case of abuse, Jehovah's Witnesses around the world would use the scriptural rule of the two witnesses, according to which a report of abuse is considered reliable only if there are at least two eyewitnesses to the fact. Although religious claims that the rule only regulates matters of an ecclesiastes nature, the aforementioned government investigations would have found that the applied to context of child abuse, it would have contributed to the falsifying reality, increased the risk of the crime, and generated further sufferings for the victims. Even in our country, the media have repeatedly reported on cases of abuse and cover-ups within the confessional confirmed by the former congregation elders who presided over such judicial committees without, however, any attention from the institutional side. And whether they do not deem it necessary and urgent within their sphere of competence to adopt initiatives aimed at investigating the phenomena described in the introduction, and whether what initiatives within their sphere of competence the ministers questioned intend to adopt to address serious phenomena of child abuse in religious contexts. So this is what's going on in Italy. This has gone to the chambers. This is a high up guy that's filing this, and he's educated in what's happening all over the world. Like, he knows.
Yeah, and I know that story. I did cover it on my channel as well, and that's the thing that I said. I mean, he abused the 7 girls in Florence, and that's one of the videos that I have there. The violence in Florence, because it is violence, psychological, physical, sexual, whatever it is, it's violence. And at the time he committed those crimes, not only is it a sin, it's a crime. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and the Jehovah's Witnesses want to say, oh, he was removed. He's no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses since 2018. But we're not talking about 2018. We're talking about the abuse that happened to these now women when they were children. And he was a Jehovah's Witness at that time. I hate when the organization tries to wash their hands as if, oh, we don't have to deal with this because he's not even a member. And that gets me. So yeah, I did a video about that. So I know that story.
Now, I wanted to bring this up. Ghost Machine brought up the comment. I went through the redress scheme in Australia. It doesn't really help you feel better when some faceless bureaucrat puts a value on your abuse. And that's what's happening. And I seen in the comments where New Zealand dollar is worth like nothing compared to a US dollar, and they're paying out like 150,000 of their dollars, which is really not much of our dollars, right? You see, this is the problem. And so, yeah, like a lot of people aren't settling for that low of amount. Why would you? It's not even covering the bills for a lot of people. So thanks for making that comment, Ghost Machine. It is a challenge down there, but thank you for getting your claim in. Hopefully you got your claim in or something. Sounds like there's a deadline. And it sounds like they're changing that too. That you can apply for more money. I read in some of the stuff I was reading. But what do I know? I'm from Canada.
Yeah.
We just know a little bit, enough to be a little bit dangerous sometimes. Now, I have one other article that's not dangerous at all. We don't make this stuff up. This is coming right out of the news in Norway. This is right out of their newspaper. Which one is it?
Is it our favorite one?
No, it's no. This is. I got it off of Twitter.
Oh, okay.
And there's a bunch of stuff on Twitter. I can cover it next week, but I did get it off of Twitter right here from Jan Frode Nelson. He said this is an article in the newspaper, in Norway, following Jehovah's Witness attempt to get reinstated. So here's I just pulled it up and they translated it. It says, Jehovah's Witnesses claim they have softened the exclusionary practices. This is the headlines in Norway, right? So it says Religious Associations Act. Jehovah's Witnesses have made changes to their exclusion practices and believe they may be entitled to government subsidies again. But neither the state nor former members are convinced.
Yeah, good.
That's the end of the article. That's it.
That's it?
So, that's it. And then there's this photo of this lady here. She's a former Jehovah's Witness. And she says, she calls BS on it. Like it's all BS. We all call BS on their changes, right?
Yeah.
So that's just, it is what it is.
But it does demonstrate the power that the government does have in your country. If you have a good country, a good government, and they target cults like Jehovah's Witnesses like they did, and they denied the subsidy, that's a good thing. That's a win for XJWs of Norway. So thankfully they went ahead and went through with this, and we watched them do this. You know what I mean? Like the bravery, the courage, the travel, like just listening to the trial. It was live. I remember it. Like I was watching it on Twitter. We were following this for such a long time. So it is a win. And I hope that the legal department in Warwick, New York continues pulling their hair out, because they got a Mexican in Mexico, XJW Caleb, doing the same thing in Mexico. And they're going to have a few Americans, a few Canadians, like anywhere you are. Try to talk to your local officials, your representatives. That's what they're there for, to represent you. And if this is an issue for you as a citizen, as a law-abiding citizen, you pay your taxes, you live your life right, you don't break the law, then why wouldn't they listen to us? You know what I'm saying? Like, I try my best to live my life right. Don't steal, don't hurt nobody, don't murder nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, follow the law, live your life, pay your taxes, stop playing around, and then go to your local officials and use them for what they're supposed to be used for.
Well, it's interesting. The guy in Italy, this Ascari Stefania, he's citing New Zealand and Norway. All over the world, everyone's going to be citing New Zealand, Norway. Norway. They're setting the precedent. And I didn't have time, but I'll cover it next week. There was a little bit more on what's going on in New York. Watchtower hired another lawyer.
Yeah, they're desperate. I'm telling you, that legal department is going to be up in flames with people. They're desperate for help. They're gonna pull out all the stops to see what's happening, because these countries are taking it seriously. And side note, this is why I wasn't so like against Russia when they banned them from the country. I was actually in support of that. And I mean, in my opinion, Russia was the first one to make headlines when I saw like they were completely banned.
Well, they called the cult a cult. They knew they were a cult.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. The classification, they are not a religion. Russia
yeah.
saw right through them and banned them and took it seriously because they care about their citizens in their
And they
country.
allowed them to meet in book studies. Remember, there's a Russian guy on our Discord. You can meet him. I forget his name. What's his name? Oleg. Remember Oleg? We see him every once in a while. And he's right from Russia, and he says you can go out to. They have their little book studies.
Yeah.
Right.
They have magazines. They even preach.
It was nothing.
He says it's nothing like what Watchtower's making it look like.
Exactly.
They're making it, blowing it all out of proportion, making
like they're
Russia
hunted.
look like they're hunting them. And that's not what's happening. He says there's a few of these self-righteous pioneer elders that are jumping up and down. Look at me, put me in jail. I want to be a hero.
Exactly, because they're breaking the law. I mean, if you knew that your religion was like banned or whatever, or cult, and you have the freedom to do it in your own household, which is what they want you to do, keep your religious beliefs to yourself and stop going door to door and trying to recruit people and use their downfall to recruit them into your cult, then they will arrest you. If you break the law in any country, you will get arrested. That's just normal. Like, everybody knows that. But they want to use that religious freedom tactic that you can use in America, but you can't use in any other country. So stop blaming those countries for not having enough freedom of religion. They're not America. So stop imposing that on other countries.
Well, we went a little bit over time on the news. We have our special guest on the entertainment section of the program. So every Friday night, we cover the news for an hour. Then we have someone in on entertainment for about a half hour. And to lead off the entertainment, just to give everyone a little break, a little intermission, I didn't tell a lot of people that I kind of know a little bit about musical stuff too. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing about, Rue? Like
Nothing. I love it. I love your videos, especially the dancing ones. I love it.
Well, I can play some stuff like, well, let me just show you guys. Here's 3 minutes. Here's a 3-minute break. Go to the bathroom, go get your coffee, and then we'll have our special guest on. Here we go.
Yay! That was wonderful.
Yay! Well,
Loved it.
Ruby, it wasn't that good.
I loved it. I was crying through the whole thing. Amazing.
Okay. Well, now we have Alora. Alora and the Barbies.
Hello. Yes, I'm trying to get my camera where I'm settled
Now,
straight on or not.
if
Anyway.
everyone doesn't know Alora, Alora has a website, Alora Mermaid. You can subscribe to Alora, and she puts out videos all the time. She's probably going to talk about this, but she went to Hawaii and actually shared her whole trip with her Barbies. I thought that was so cool. Every time her video came up, we watched it. So, Laura, tell us, do you want me to leave this up? Or?
Yeah, go ahead. If you want to go to my playlist, because I have a whole playlist of Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Barbies.
Okay.
So, like, if you don't want to look at just me, you can if you want to look at the Jehovah's Barbies. Yeah. So basically, what it is I love Barbies. I've been collecting Barbies. I played with Barbies when I was little. I even have some of my Barbies from childhood. My Jehovah's Witness mom loved Barbies, got me Barbies. And so I thought, and my little friends and I, we would play Kingdom Hall with my Barbies. So I'm like going, okay, let's do a Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Barbies. So anyway, yeah. So I do have a few videos out. The one that you're watching right now is The Last Supper. It's a dramatization. You know how all the assemblies we'd have a drama. So this was a dramatization of the Last Supper. So instead of so they have KFC. That's it was catered by KFC. So.
Now, did I skip through any of it too fast? No, because
a little bit. If you go back a little bit, so when we were little, that is okay. Okay, I'm talking about I play with Barbies, and that is Serena Williams because it's right after the Olympics. So she's introducing the governing Muppets, and sorry about my dog. She's introducing the drama, and that is two of the governing Muppets. So instead of the governing body, it's the governing Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we were little, we'd always have a lot of girl Barbies. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a lot of boy Barbies. Mm-hmm. So if you pan a little bit, or you'll see Princess Leia. That is one of my original dolls. Do you remember the whole controversy of the Olympics of was it Dionysus? So yeah, so Serena Williams brought the costume back for I think I'm trying to think of who that is. That's not Sanderson. Oh, there's Stephen Lett and Toni Morris. Yeah.
Was he drunk?
Yeah, pretty much. Or he's asleep. Yeah. You'll have to go back and watch it. It's kind of funny. But he's wearing the governing Muppet is wearing the outfit that Dionysus wore from the Olympics. There we go. Yeah. So that's the guy from the Olympics. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so going back to how we all had girl Barbies, not enough boy Barbies.
Mm-hmm.
So that is Princess Leia. She is playing Jesus, and Han Solo is Mary Magdalene. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think Ryan is going to be there. The Barbie that there, I think, yeah, one of the Barbies back there is the Barbie that I have for Ryan. And one of the other videos that I have the Good Wife and Vern and MJ on there. So I have a lot of Barbies for some of our YouTube content creators. And I don't know, did I show you your Barbie, Ruby?
I think you did on Discord, but I would love to see it.
There she is. She is
I
a
love
superstar.
it. What?
Yes, isn't
Okay,
she beautiful?
I'm just gonna remove this for just a second so I can see it closer. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's the one with my
Mhm.
black wig. I'm gonna have to help you with your
Yes.
collection because I have blonde, red hair, so you need you need to
I'm gonna
come up.
have to. Yeah, I'll have to get some wigs for her. So, an upcoming episode that I'm going to have is the memorial,
Mhm.
and because all the ex Jehovah's Witnesses are invited, so so Ruby's going to come.
Oh,
She's going to come on
nice.
the red carpet.
I love the
So
dress.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Isn't that
Oh my
beautiful?
goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
I am
Because you're
reliving.
glamorous.
Yeah. Aw, thanks, Alora.
And you're welcome. And Culty Talk and
Mhm.
Culty Talk does the camera work.
Yeah.
She is actually, well, maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but she's gonna do special. She's gonna deliver you to the red carpet to the memorial. So
That's
anyway,
awesome, Alora. I was just about
yeah.
to ask you, and I see
Uh-huh.
like Jay's comments. He says like it's like reliving your childhood when we get to do things that we could do, like the only things that we can do while we were JW kids, like was play with Barbies because everything
Right.
else was banned
Exactly.
in our house, and my mom only allowed me to play with Barbies. So just like you, that was
Yeah.
the only outlet that I had to play with my
Mm-hmm.
cousins, and
Mm-hmm.
I am it's like I you're bringing it back to me. You know what I mean? Like the nostalgia, the memories.
See, that's what I
Yeah.
want. That's what I wanted to do. And it's just, even if you didn't play with Barbies, and by the way, Jay, this is you. So I have Colty Talk, and I have myself, and I have Joe and Fran too. I have Jonathan, ex Witness Awake, and I have Ryan, and I have a whole bunch of just June. I have a whole bunch of people that
I
they're
love
all going to be
it.
invited to the memorial, and so they're all going to be on the red carpet. It's going to be fun. I have a
Oh, that's
lot.
awesome. I love it.
Oh
I love
yeah,
the miniature stuff that you have. You create a whole world. Like
yes.
we used to
See,
do that with just our imaginations back in the day because
yes,
we couldn't buy all the little things.
yes.
So you're doing it
Oh,
now, and
out
I'm
of
like,
cardboard, I had made a record player. You'd cut out
mm,
those things, and
mm,
you would just. And my dad in sixth grade, he built me. We remodeled our house, and out of
mm.
the scraps, he built me a Barbie house.
Oh wow.
I had so much, and then out of the clay, you would make toothbrushes and toothpaste. I mean, you would make everything.
Oh, that's so
So
nice.
yeah, so that's my garden. And Colty and Alora Mermaid. They're after the Last Supper dramatization. They're relaxing, and
Hmm.
I just love that little garden, and so I still
Yeah,
have that
this is
up.
This
So
is what we have to do. Like I used to say all the time, like to get my identity back, I needed to figure out who was I? Like what did I
yeah,
like? And I had to go
yes.
back into my childhood. And even though it looks
Mm-hmm.
weird as an adult living out a childhood fantasy or like your
Mm-mm.
childhood memories that you couldn't do when you were a child, we weren't allowed to be
Yeah,
children. So it
Yep.
kind of looks
right.
weird in adulthood, but those are just the
Mm-hmm.
effects of that trauma. And now
Right.
it's like I'm doing that with my daughter and getting her toys and Barbies. And we have this
Yeah.
critter house and we were super gluing stuff to the house and we were decorating. And it was like, why couldn't we just
Mm-hmm.
do this in that freedom? So it's like
Right.
we have to relive that and
Mm-hmm.
become it's like we have to satisfy the child in us. Like I watch
Yeah.
cartoons all the time. I watch Disney, like
Mm-hmm.
Overload, because we could never watch Disney.
Oh, I watch Blue's Clues as an adult with my
Yes,
godson.
and I watch Bluey.
So,
That's like the
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Australian version
Yeah.
uh, of it, and I love the show.
Um, One of those videos is, and that is one of the things I started collecting. Oh, I love that. The Good Wife and Vern made that video for me. It's so cute. But
We'll get
I started,
copyrights on it.
yeah, yes. So I started collecting Barbies as an adult, the ones that I wanted, the expensive ones.
Mhm.
But the play ones like the Barbie camper and a dollhouse, I was like going, okay, when the kids come over, they can go downstairs and play with Barbies and everything. But
Mhm.
there's a one with Ken with in the camper. I don't know if you've seen the Barbie movie. There's MJ. I,
I don't know.
and
It's playing. Yeah,
yeah.
just I don't
Um,
know why it's playing like this. Okay, where are we?
so I did let's see. There's a one where okay. Um,
There we are.
there we are.
Okay,
Okay.
here's your playlist.
Um, there's 10, the van conversion, Knuff style, the Mojo Dojo Casa camper.
Do you want to watch that one? Or
Yeah, because then I'll if you want to. I put that in the playlist because he's worldly Ken.
So I had to move into a van down by the
And
river. I'm Ken, and let's take a tour of my Mojo Dojo Casa camper.
okay. Do you want to walk us through it, or do
Here's
you
the
want me to
top.
put the
I
audio
love
on?
it.
oh no, you can that's fine. You can do it. Well, he's gonna be worldly Ken.
From the movie. I know. There's also-
Excuse me. And
Here's the outside seating area.
he's going to get an
Ireland, friends.
elder's daughter pregnant
Those are props from the movie. Yeah. Okay.
in a future episode. I'm giving you guys all these spoilers. Colty and I, we have about 20 episodes thought out. So I just have to shoot. I've got a shot out. I just need to put them together, just trying to find time because I have a full-time job. And it's just,
Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
that is worldly Ken. He's the one who's going to get an elder's daughter pregnant.
Really?
Yeah. So it's kind of I was telling MJ that it's kind of like a novella, about the congregation, about all these characters in this congregation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know. Do you want me to show you some of the people? There is one, the donut one, that has Vern and the Good Wife in it.
Oh, yeah, let's see
Is that on
Vern.
your?
Vern
Okay.
Is that on this list?
Yeah, that is. Let's see. It's the one where it's the donuts one. Teen Mall the day after. Go ahead. Last Supper up a bit. It's
Then we're out here.
huh? No, it's part of the garden one. Chemo the day after, not the day after. It's where you're eating donuts.
Is it
I
under
can't see it.
videos?
Yeah, it's under the videos. Yeah.
Yeah, try to go to the videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're, yeah. It's not My Secret Garden. I think that's the first one.
Family.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Now go down. Up.
Yeah.
Wow, you've done a lot of videos. This is amazing.
That's a really. Isn't this here? Isn't this it?
The donuts right there. Oh, I just saw it. Scroll down. Is it down there?
That one?
Yep. I think it's that one.
I think it's this one.
It could be that one.
No kidding.
Yep,
We
that
here.
one.
This foot soak is heavenly. Too bad you just have fins. Oh, it's fine. The space mask is working already. All tingly. Mani Petty's next. Cheers. How's your Cosmo?
I got it in fast forward.
Oh, you made it really strong. I figured you needed a stiff drink after chasing Serena Williams and the governing Muppets around during the Last Supper drama. Speaking of stiff ones, did you see Disciple Snow White and her boyfriend making out in a dark corner? No. How shocking. Absolutely disgraceful. Did any of the governing Muppets or elders notice? No. They were too busy. Thank goodness. Did you get it on camera? Of course I did. It'll be in the bloopers reel. But for Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome, I'd risk a judicial hearing too. What's your type of brother, Alora? Sister Weird Barbie says she likes her men like she likes her coffee. Strong and bitter. I like mine short, caramel, and cute. Did someone mention me? Special delivery for Alora Mermaid and Culty Talk. It's from The Good Wife.
MJ.
Yeah.
That's
He says he's short. He's short, caramel, and cute.
Oh, watch out for the peony gnome. Huh? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh man, I think it glitched.
Did it glitch?
What happened?
Because we gotta see Vern. Gotta see Vern and get that.
Great job on the dramatization. I see my delivery. Yes, thanks. And thanks for the donuts, good wife. Did someone say donuts? Hi, Brother Vern. Help
Hat on right now as that Barbie. This is hilarious.
Yeah, the Last Supper drama was so exhausting. With all the governing Muppets and Sister Serena Williams to keep track of, I thought Brother Winder
Looks
was
just like you, Vern. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god.
Religion at first. Did you see his outfit Sister Williams brought back from Paris?
Wait until
Yeah,
there.
Brother Cook was not happy. I had to do damage control
I'll
afterwards.
just eat donuts all day.
He did look like the great God Dionysus.
Those donuts look so
Yeah, the governing Muppets are
Don't say that. Those were real Krispy Kreme donuts. I made replicas of them.
Serena did donate a lot of money to them. Not much they could do. It's always crazy when the governing Muppets are under our control. But next event should be more low key. Sister Weird Barbie is giving a talk.
Perfect.
Oh, she's always fun. I want to see
He
good
shapes it
close-ups
better.
of her. Will do, boss. Hey, save some donuts for the girls. Yeah, they're so good.
They are.
Well, have a good evening, sisters. Bird left you a couple of donuts. Enjoy.
Are those real donuts? Were those real donuts?
Yeah, those are real donuts. I did a review. I did a taste test or taste test review on my channel. So
Wow, like
where I
edible
actually
miniature
eat the
donuts?
real donuts.
Really?
Wow.
I think
So
I've
it's like
seen
Oh, I
some.
edible
didn't eat the.
miniature.
Oh, well, actually, they're Cheerios are what they are. I just painted and
Oh,
shellacked the heck out of them. Yeah.
oh, nice.
But no, the real Krispy Kreme donuts, they did a whole Barbie donuts.
Mhm, mhm.
And so I did a taste test of the real ones. And then I thought, you know what? The Barbies need them because they're Barbie, you know. So those are what I made.
Vern looks thinner in Barbie World. Oh my god. Oh my god. I would love to go to Barbie
That's a good one.
World.
You're gonna have to put
Yeah.
some cushion in the belly, Patty.
Well, I was going to show you a couple more of the, I don't know, this is in one of the upcoming ones. This is Sparlock.
Oh, nice.
Sparlock, because, he's actually my Merlin Barbie. I've had him since the 90s, but, or the early 2000s, but I thought he looked like Sparlock. So he's actually going to, he's going to go to the congregation
Oh,
because
wow.
Barbies, they're their own character, so they can't help it. Like my Barbie is a mermaid. I can't help it that I'm a mythical creature. So it's like it's anything I want it to be. And then, do you remember when this is going to be a Christmas special? Do you remember when they let everybody have the beards, and then the governing body started growing beards, and everybody started saying Sanderson was Sander Claus? Do you remember that?
Mhm.
Well, oops. Okay. So I am going to have this is Sander Claus.
Wow.
And he has the Norway
the
Norway flag
That's
on his
awesome.
sleigh. And yeah, he gives toys to all good Jehovah's Witness kids, like Caleb
Wow.
and Sophia. And so yeah, I guess I better. Yeah, I
Yes.
just have a lot of episodes in the can, and I just have to edit them. And so please subscribe. I don't have that many subscribers, and I'm not going to do a Patreon or any of that stuff, but I do want to have subscribers so that I want to show that I want to, I love doing this. I love Barbies. I love, I'm telling stories. This is my
Yeah. Do you
outlet.
have
I have no life. I work and I do crafts and Barbies. That's my life.
Yeah. Yeah, me
And
too.
my dog.
Laura, I was gonna ask
Hmm.
you, do you have kid Barbies? Like, you know how they have like the family ones and they have
You go with this
the
one,
dog
Alora,
Barbie and the puppy
Yeah.
one and that kind of stuff?
or this one.
Oh, for Ryan. Okay, Ryan is gonna bring pickles on the red carpet.
Oh,
I
okay,
got
nice.
I have that one Barbie dog that poops.
Oh, really?
So
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. I was just about to ask you that
so
because
yeah. So yeah.
yeah,
And then
awesome.
I got little Caleb, little Sophia, and what's her friend's name that she does the Bible study with? I totally brain fart.
I don't know because I haven't seen them since
Okay,
they
so
made it.
she has her
So
little friend. What does he say? Somebody said, yeah. Yeah, I have them, and so they're going to. Caleb is going to have like an awe moment when he sees Sparlock is an actual Jehovah's Barbie.
okay,
So
yeah. You're doing amazing,
yeah,
Alora. I love it. I love the series. I love the Barbie Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Barbies
yeah.
because me and my cousin tried with everything in our power not to go to the Kingdom Hall with our Barbies. So you kind of flipped the script and you went straight in that Kingdom Hall with the Barbies.
I know, and and I went back to my high school reunion, and I met my Jehovah Witness bestie. We were both in the same grade, and we play Barbies. We play. I mean, we do. I mean, we talked about it, and she's out now, but I don't know. We had a really good talk about it because our both of our moms were best friends. So
Wow. Yeah, that's so nice,
yeah.
man. I'm so happy you're doing
Hmm.
that. Sometimes we forget that we need
Yeah,
to nurture that child in us that didn't get to grow up the
definitely.
right way. Like I do that
Yeah.
to myself a lot too. It's like I have to be an adult. I
Hmm.
have to act like an adult. I have to do everything
Mm-mm.
because I'm the only one. Like I'm mom. People they're looking up to you
Yeah.
as the direction, the example, and everything. So it's like I
Hmm.
don't try to be too childish because you can't be your kid's friend. You got to be a parent. You know what I mean? Like you take on that
But you
role.
can be fun. You can be fun.
Right. Fun mom.
See,
Cool mom.
yeah, my godson, I make up for lost time. So I'm wearing my Christmas
I
sweater,
love it. I love
and
it.
my birthday spans the entire month because I'm making up for lost time.
Yep.
And I kind of tend to go all out for the kids, not
Yes.
necessarily for the adults, but for the kids.
Yeah.
And I went to Maui, about 3 weeks ago. And my niece, she's
Mhm.
an ex Jehovah's Witness. And so I like to
Nothing.
spoil her too.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Who put that?
If
Oh,
anybody
okay.
wants
yeah.
to join us, Vern put the link in the chat because we're gonna do a private session after the show. So everybody, if you want to join us, you can join us backstage with the link in the chat.
Yeah, if you come on stage, we're going to close the live down, but you can stay on and talk to Alora. And then we have a restricted video that can't be played in some countries. I made it for Alora, but then I found out I put it on YouTube and they said, you can't play that in some countries.
I know.
But you
Mhm.
guys can come on backstage and you can play I'll show this restricted video. But
Okay.
Say restricted one more time.
I won't say it again.
No, say it again. Restricted video.
Restricted.
It's true.
Okay, so we're just gonna give you guys time to come on. Whoever wants to come on, Culty Talk, you're out there. Just get onto the backstage. Jay, you don't even have to show yourself. San Diego, you guys are all out there, and we're gonna close the show down. So thanks everyone for being on with us. It was great. The news
Thank
was
you,
great.
Alora.
Thanks, Alora.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me. I loved it. Everybody go to my channel and subscribe. I'll
Yes.
have more content coming up. Like I said, the playlist for Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Barbies is under my playlist. So you can see those. You don't have to watch my Hawaii movies if you don't or videos if you don't want to. Or videos of my dog.
Awesome, Alora.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for joining us. I posted the link one
Mhm.
more time for anybody who wants to join us.
Thank you.
The live will end, but we're gonna be on StreamYard for just a few more minutes after the live.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So everybody just sit tight, please. We're
The
just.
sunset outro?
I thought you had one that you
Well,
and Ruby
I
made.
played it already.
Okay.
Okay. The producer says to play this, so
Yeah,
that's
we're
what we
good.
play. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye,
Bye for now.
everybody. Good night.
We're going to give you more time to come on. A few more people. You there?
There's
Okay.
Colty. Oh, I didn't show, but they even had. Oops.
Okay.
Oops,
We're
there we
going to
go.
close her after this.
There's Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw, yeah.
That's Rocky. Now I gotta get dogs
Sandy,
for Tanner
one's on?
Yes.
Okay, great.
and Romeo.
Oh, nice.
Okay, well, thank you. The live portion is coming to an end.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. And I will roll this, and it'll be the end of the live show. So you have one more opportunity to come on.